This whole fake marriage thing ended up with us in the same bed, and Jasmine was totally confused. Alex pulled her into his arms, a smile playing on his lips. Jasmine, I like you. Let's make it real. Jasmine rubbed her hands awkwardly and nervously glanced at the man standing next to her, whose icy aura seemed to freeze everything within a 10-foot radius. So, since we're already here, how about we go in and sit for a bit? Alex gave Jasmine a blank look. His long eyelashes cast a shadow as he finally moved, taking a step forward just before Jasmine could hold her breath any longer. Jasmine let out a big sigh and looked up at the glaringly bright words above the entrance, wiping the sweat from her forehead with shaky hands. Over there, fill out the forms first, called the receptionist as soon as they walked in. Alex paused for a moment, then turned naturally in the direction she pointed. Wait, Jasmine hurried 2 steps to catch up. We're just fake married. Do we have to do the marriage checkup too? Alex stopped and stared at Jasmine, asking in a crisp, icy voice, aren't you afraid I might be sick? So, are you? Jasmine blinked her big round eyes and asked out of reflex. Alex choked, his beautiful eyes opening a little wider. 2 chilly words slipped from his lips, I'm not. Jasmine scratched the back of her head, bewildered by Alex's sudden anger. She felt guilty dragging him here to get a license, but they're in a fake marriage, who cares if one of them is? As an idea struck her, Jasmine blushed fiercely and shook her head abruptly. After the marriage checkup, they quickly got their certificate. Standing outside the marriage bureau, Jasmine was a bit spaced out. Her nose tingled for some reason. If, she stammered. Speak, Alex said, looking at her like she was about to do something mischievous again. Jasmine felt a chill up her neck and shrank back. If I say I'm regretting this a little, would you be mad at me? Try it and see, he replied, his lips curling into a luxurious smirk. Jasmine shivered. The feeling in her nose went away as she forced a grin. Just kidding, just kidding. I promised Lucy I'd be her mom. I can't go back on that and lie to a kid, right? Lucy, Alex's 3-year-old daughter, was an adorable, rosy-cheeked cutie. Thinking of how Lucy clung to her legs and sobbed, Jasmine's heart ached. This little one doesn't have a mom. Jasmine, at 28, was still in school. Not exactly old, but somehow tales of postdoc women being unwanted had filtered down to her elders. Under the never-ending pressure to get married, Jasmine finally gave in that year. After over 10 awkward dates, she was ready to give up when she met the cool, handsome Alex. Alex was Jasmine's high school classmate. After school, his family moved away to do business, and he followed. A decade later, time had chiseled him into a work of art. Jasmine was too timid to ask who Lucy's mom was or why Alex was still single. She didn't want to stumble upon any dramatic past events accidentally. Imagining Alex's icy face showing sadness or anger was enough to give Jasmine goosebumps. Alex mentioned he was homesick, so he moved back. He's only a 15-minute drive from Jasmine's place. With Alex back in town, Jasmine felt obliged to welcome him. She didn't expect Lucy to cling to her from their first meeting. Jasmine couldn't stand to see the little girl sad, so they started seeing more of each other. On the day they got their license, Jasmine went to escape from her mom's nagging. Alex was there, carving a radish flower for Lucy with a little knife. His posture and hands, beautiful and delicate, seemed far removed from such simple tasks. Holding sweet-smelling Lucy, Jasmine found herself entranced. A wild idea sparked up, and she blurted, "Alex, let's get married." The sound of a radish peel hitting the table interrupted them. Alex looked up after a moment, breathing calmly. "Bathroom's over there. Go wash your face." Though he didn't finish his thought, Jasmine understood he meant she needed to wake up. Once she snapped back, Jasmine wanted to bolt from embarrassment. She cradled Lucy tightly, her hands damp with sweat. Yet, the more she thought about it, the more feasible the idea seemed. Handing Lucy to the nanny, Jasmine eagerly sat opposite Alex. "Think about it, Lucy likes me. I'm done with blind dates. Wouldn't it be nice to have a ready-made mom for her?" Alex twitched his mouth, set his things down, and rose to wash his hands in the kitchen. Jasmine followed him, offering a towel to dry his hands. Alex's glance flitted to what seemed like a wagging tail behind her. Since Alex didn't respond, Jasmine pondered, "Is there someone else you like?" Alex's forehead twitched, his lips pressed slightly together. Jasmine's heart twisted. Was her easy catch slipping away? But if he did have someone, she shouldn't interfere. That'd be disastrous, wouldn't it? Jasmine's eyes were losing their sparkle, and Alex, a bit uneasy, cleared his throat. Nope. Then let's go. Jasmine's body reacted faster than her mind. She grabbed Alex's hand and started pulling him outside. His hand, freshly washed and a bit chilly, felt warm and smooth in Jasmine's grasp, making Alex momentarily dazed. Just as they were about to be pulled out the door, Alex gently pulled Jasmine back in front of him, frowning slightly. "I didn't bring the household registration book." Jasmine stumbled a bit. When Jasmine tossed the marriage certificate in front of her mom's smile was so wide it almost touched her ears. "You've had rotten luck for almost 30 years, and then you snag a gem like this. Alex is a good boy, always sensible. If it weren't for him moving away with his parents, I would have snagged him for you back then. But he has a 3-year-old daughter, unwilling to be overlooked by her mom." Jasmine revealed Alex's history. Indeed, her mom's face changed. "He's been married before?" Jasmine shook her head. "If he were divorced, do you think the marriage certificate would look like this?" Hearing this, her mom's smile brightened again. "Poor thing, wonder which heartless woman did him wrong. But he's taking responsibility, raising a child on his own." Jasmine watched her mom, whose expression changed faster than the weather, and nearly ground her teeth to powder. Suddenly, Jasmine's mom headed toward Jasmine's room. Jasmine, with a lollipop stuck in her mouth, was confused. "Mom, what are you doing?" Her mom turned back, winking. "Packing your stuff. You might know each other, but it's been years, and rushing into marriage is risky. You need to build your relationship." Jasmine watched in shock as her mom whirlwinded through her room, packing a suitcase and then pushing her out the door with lightning speed, followed by all the luggage. "From now on, I'm using your room," her mom chirpily announced. The door slammed shut in Jasmine's face, leaving her feeling like a herd of horses was galloping through her mind. Searching her pockets, Jasmine glumly realized she didn't have her keys. Looking at the closed door, she finally gave up and dragged her luggage to catch a ride to Alex's place. Feeling a bit embarrassed, she pressed the doorbell. Alex looked at her suspiciously. "Did you run away from home?" Jasmine internally thought, "I wish I had that much pride, but would I be laughed at if I said I got kicked out?" Trying to play it cool, she responded evenly, "Gotta play the part. We're married. If we're living separately, my mom might get suspicious." Alex didn't say anything, which Jasmine took as a silent agreement. He took her luggage and stepped aside to let her in. Alex's place was as neat as he was. With luggage in tow, Alex gestured to the sofa. "Have a seat, I'll go tidy up a room." Jasmine chuckled and picked up Lucy, rolling around on the sofa, nodding happily. Truth be told, there wasn't much to tidy. The guest room was already vacant. After playing with Lucy a bit, Alex returned downstairs. Taking Lucy from Jasmine's arms, Alex led her upstairs. Watching the man and child ahead of her, Jasmine suddenly realized she had actually married this man. It felt a bit surreal, almost absurd. Thinking about it, even though she knew this marriage wasn't some romantic fairy tale, she still felt a bit awkward. So, with that moodiness and her tendency to be picky about beds, Jasmine managed to stay up all night, eventually catching a cold. The next day, sitting in the hospital as Alex helped her with an 4 drip, Jasmine sniffled, feeling embarrassed. "If you're busy, you can head back. I can manage." Alex checked his phone for the time, nodding. "I have some stuff to handle. Let me know when you're done, and I'll pick you up." Jasmine agreed obediently. Once Alex left, she let out a sigh. The usually resilient Jasmine had succumbed so easily, making her feel quite embarrassed. After the 4 drip, Jasmine texted Alex to say she was heading home, not waiting for him to pick her up. Once home, she quickly dozed off in bed. When Alex returned, the house was silent. He walked towards Jasmine's room, carefully pushing the door open. Seeing Jasmine curled up in bed, he instinctively tread quietly. Jasmine's face was flushed, clearly congested, with her mouth slightly open as she slept. Frowning, Alex sat on the bed to wake her. "Jasmine, you should eat something." Dazed, Jasmine opened her eyes, nodding and immediately getting out of bed. Alex thought she just had a minor cold, until she stumbled after standing, falling back onto the floor. Startled, Alex hurried to help her up. Using his hand, Jasmine stood, chuckling. Those TV dramas where the girl faints, and the guy saves her, starting a romantic tale? Yeah, right. You almost stood way over there as I fell. Alex couldn't help but raise an eyebrow in disagreement. 2 steps. The bathroom door was shut, and Jasmine silently cried out in frustration, her head back. Why was she freaking out about a guy just in his underwear? It's not like they aren't everywhere. But with Alex, she was losing her cool. Was being single for 28 years making her overreact? In the bathroom, the sound of running water made Jasmine feel like she was sitting on pins and needles. Suddenly, the door opened, and steamy air mixed with the fresh scent of body wash spilled out. Alex walked out, looking as handsome as ever, hardly wearing anything, passing by Jasmine as if it was nothing. Fighting the urge to jump up, Jasmine watched Alex nonchalantly dry his hair. When he elegantly lifted a corner of the blanket to get in bed, Jasmine couldn't hold back. "Why aren't you wearing clothes?" Alex just shrugged, a mischievous glint in his eye. "I sleep nude." He paused midair, feigning innocence when he looked at her. Then he quickly slipped into the bed, his graceful movements seamless and fluid. Jasmine stared at Alex, speechless, as he settled in. Her mind was a storm of emotions, but she managed to grab her glass from the bedside and take a gulp, the cold water inexplicably making her feel a bit dizzy. Alex's eyes darkened just slightly, but Jasmine didn't notice. This was his room after all, and that was his glass. "Aren't you tired after traveling all day? Go wash up and get some sleep," Alex said, his voice casually relaxed. Jolted, Jasmine rose and headed for the bathroom, her brain clearing only once warm water poured over her. Then she realized, horror-struck, that she hadn't brought clean clothes. She wouldn't dare open the door to ask Alex for some. After a long deliberation, she finished her shower, wrapped herself in a towel, and peeked through the door. Alex seemed asleep, his back to her. Quietly, Jasmine crept to the wardrobe, grabbed her pajamas, and dashed back to the bathroom. At some point, Alex had turned around. Watching Jasmine scramble like a startled rabbit brought a subtle smile to his lips, his eyes twinkling with amusement. He knew not to push her too far, after all, scaring her off wouldn't do. So, Jasmine nervously climbed into bed, teetering on the edge. Listening to Alex's calm, even breaths, sleep finally overtook her. In the morning, Jasmine didn't wake up in the arms of the handsome guy next to her, which filled her with relief, yet oddly, a little disappointment. Is he uninterested? Jasmine thought cynically. How are you gonna sleep with a young beauty like me and not even mess up a sheet? When she got dressed and headed downstairs, Alex had already left for work. With a big company to run, he was always busy. Jasmine's mom was making breakfast, and Lucy was in a rocking chair, happily babbling away. Laughing, Jasmine picked up Lucy, hung around her mom, and swiped a pumpkin pancake. "Hey, Mom, interested in going shopping today?" Without pausing her cooking, Jasmine's mom shot her a look. "Sure. We also need to get Lucy some clothes. Alex is doing okay, but a man can't think of everything. Kids grow fast, and her pants are already too short." Jasmine made a face. Since Dad passed, and with her away often, her mom was usually home alone. Becoming a grandmother by chance, she dotes on Lucy like a treasure. After breakfast, they headed out, Jasmine holding Lucy, her mom in tow. Lucy, ever the little attention seeker, was all about the fun. Jasmine's mom joyfully bought the little one clothes, Lucy grinning all the while. Kids learn vanity young, it seems. As they walked, Jasmine's gaze fell on a display window. Her mom called out a few times with no response and followed her line of sight, a men's jacket. Thinking of getting Alex something too? Her mom asked, stepping closer. I'm not sure about Alex's size, Jasmine admitted. Her mom raised an eyebrow. Jasmine snapped back to reality, forced a smile. I guess it's probably an L. Yeah, that's it. With Lucy on her hip, she led the way into the store, saying, that jacket looks like it'd suit him. Let's check it out. Her mom kept quiet, just followed her daughter inside. After a long shopping day, juggling Lucy around, they finally got home at dusk. Alex was ahead of them, sitting in the study, reading. Jasmine awkwardly opened the study door. Meeting Alex's curious gaze, she shyly handed over the shopping bag. Got you something while out with Mom. See if it fits. A hint of a smile crossed Alex's face as he nonchalantly stood, took off his coat, and slipped into the new jacket. Good fit? Alex was well built, could make anything look good. Holding his arms out, he looked directly at Jasmine, waiting for her approval. Her ears burned as she pretended to be interested in a book. Looks good. Oh. I feel like the collar's a bit scratchy. Alex moved closer, leaning in. Can you check it for me? Jasmine's hands froze as she was flipping through a book. She quickly spun around and shoved the notebook back onto the shelf. Mumbling something about having plans, she dashed out the door. Alex just stood there, confused. He was pretty sure he hadn't done anything to upset her. Curiosity got the better of him, so he walked over to where Jasmine had been standing and pulled out the book she'd been looking at. His eyes darkened instantly. It was an old journal, and one page was covered with the same name written over and over. Alex squinted ever so slightly and a smirk crept onto his face. Seems like he'd been found out. He was so obsessed with teasing her, he hadn't even noticed. Outside the room, Jasmine was leaning against the door. She was trying to calm her racing heart and cool her flushed face, which felt like it could burst into flames at any second. That page of youthful handwriting, full of emotion, had caught her by surprise. It was screaming a truth she wasn't ready to face, so she decided not to think further about it. Taking a deep breath, she rushed back to her room, packed a few clothes, and ran downstairs. She waved goodbye to her mom and took off back to school in the dead of night. By dinner time, when Alex came downstairs and didn't see Jasmine, he couldn't resist asking about her. Jasmine's mom, busy serving up dinner, complained about Jasmine taking off in such a hurry, claiming she had some urgent task from school. The teachers, she said, must be out of their minds assigning work so late at night. Alex just chuckled. He could practically see Jasmine's frantic retreat. For all her bravado, she was just so predictable. Legally married and all that. Jasmine's mom kept on talking, and Alex listened politely, occasionally throwing in a gentle tease that only made her fonder of him. A month later, Jasmine had had enough of playing ostrich and risking her mom's wrath. She resigned herself to going home. The front door opened, and before she could even decide what kind of face to put on, she was yanked inside. She exhaled in relief when she realized Alex wasn't home. Her mother gave her a scowl. Quit looking around, she snapped. Someone eat your Wheaties, Jasmine teased, though she was a bit anxious. I wish, her mom sighed. What's up with the attitude? Jasmine asked, sensing something was off. Who else? Said her mom, deflated. Lucy's mom, her biological one. Jasmine's heart skipped a beat. She'd always avoided thinking about it, knowing Lucy was Alex's child. But the reality that Lucy's mom had resurfaced hit her hard. Does Alex know? Jasmine wondered, sipping water to hide her discomfort. I haven't told him, her mom said. The woman doesn't deserve Lucy. She ditched such a cute kid, and now wants her back. Who knows how she'd treat our Lucy? Our Lucy, Jasmine echoed, amused yet touched by her mom's protectiveness. But if Alex knew, would he agree? After all, Jasmine and her mom weren't blood relatives to Lucy. Alex was Lucy's dad. As for that woman, Jasmine felt a twinge of bitterness. I think we should tell Alex, Jasmine insisted, biting her lip. You're nuts, her mom retorted. She could try to move in, and you're not ready for that kind of battle. Jasmine rolled her eyes. Mom. That night, Jasmine couldn't sleep. She felt a mix of emotions. Logically, hers and Alex's relationship was a sham. She had no right to feel upset. But his kindness and their unspoken connection stirred up deep feelings. Alex came home late. Work had him tied up. He entered the bedroom, instantly recognizing the trace of Jasmine's familiar scent lingering in the air. His cold, composed face softened for just a second. Sneaking into the room, he grabbed some clothes and went to the bathroom to wash up. The room lit even as she slept. Alex returned to find Jasmine frowning at her dreams. He sighed lightly and shook his head. Still know how to come back, huh? He teased, lifting the covers. He stretched one leg into the bed with care, ensuring Jasmine didn't feel the cold. Then he playfully pinched her nose. Annoyed by faint disturbance in her sleep, Jasmine mumbled and rolled over without waking. Her move was precarious, however, resting on the edge and about to tumble off. Quick as lightning, Alex caught her in mid-roll, holding her close. Staring down at her peaceful, unknowing face, he solemnly said, just saving you from falling, not that I'm enjoying the contact. Satisfied with the day's rescue mission and ready to end his long day, Alex fell asleep holding her. Jasmine could only vaguely remember finally drifting off amidst her chaotic thoughts. She awoke late the next morning, alone but very tellingly aware of the neatness beside her. No doubt about it, last night Alex had been back. Putting on her slippers, Jasmine listened at the door, hearing faint voices from below but none belonged to Alex. Guessing he'd already left, she hurriedly changed and dashed downstairs, but was stunned halfway through. Alex was sitting comfortably on the living room sofa. Jasmine's mom was on one side, watching the unfamiliar woman across from her with a cautious look. Hearing a noise, Alex shifted slightly. When he saw Jasmine standing there, he smiled a bit and waved her over. Jasmine clutched her racing heart, quietly thinking, so cheerful this early in the morning. But outwardly, she walked over calmly. Mom, she greeted, then turned to Alex. I thought you went out. Yeah, I was about to, Alex replied, naturally taking Jasmine's hand and pulling her to sit beside him. But something came up. Feeling the warmth from his hand spread up her arm and into her heart, Jasmine followed his gaze. Then it hit her, this stunning woman sitting across from them had to be who Jasmine's mom mentioned yesterday, Lucy's biological mother. Surprised she was back so soon, Jasmine squinted dangerously. And you are? Hi, I'm Lily, Lucy's mom, the woman said with a smile. Nice to meet you, Jasmine nodded politely, though she thought, she shows up just to stake her claim. Clearly here to stir things up. Alex noticed Jasmine's occasional side glance and found it amusing. He patted her head affectionately like she was a puppy, then turned to Lily. The room seemed to chill instantly. Jasmine instinctively moved closer to Alex as a shiver ran through her. Maybe the heater was broken? A cold, mocking voice filled the space. Lady, you should realize you severed all ties with us when you decided to abandon Lucy for remarriage. Jasmine was puzzled hearing the word remarried and glanced at Alex quizzically. Did he mean divorced or something else? And why did Lily look unfazed? Maybe she had a ceremony but never made it official? Shaking her head of thoughts, she glanced at Alex's raised eyebrows, then realization hit him. Alex wrapped an arm around Jasmine's waist, sitting up straighter. Lily's face looked strained as she said, but I just want my child. Alex scoffed. That child is my brother's. She has nothing to do with you. Within moments, Alex emphasized twice that the child wasn't Lily's business. Lily's well-made-up face turned a shade paler. But Jasmine wasn't fazed by all that. Her mind was focused on those words, my brother's child. Her mom seemed equally shocked. Seeing their confused faces, Alex continued, Lucy is my brother's child. After my brother died in a car accident, you didn't even bother to attend his funeral and couldn't wait to marry someone else. Jasmine frowned slightly at Lily, not agreeing with how she abandoned her husband so quickly after his death. Even in today's world, that felt heartless. Lily was visibly uncomfortable as the past was dug up, but she didn't dare show it because she needed something. Alex, taking his time, went on, back then, our family, albeit hard for us, respected her choice. But with Lucy losing her dad so soon after birth, we thought to ask her if she wanted to take Lucy along. He paused, his eyes flashing coldly. She rejected it outright, saying, I have nothing to do with your family now. Alex's voice dripped with disdain, and his stare was just as icy. Lily, like she was sitting on needles, faced around, defensive. I just sought happiness for myself after your brother passed. It's not like it's the olden days where I gotta remain single. Did you? Alex finally showed anger. If you weren't so heartless, we wouldn't have dug into your shady dealings. Can you swear you weren't involved with that man before? Jasmine watched Lily, aghast. This woman was truly shameless. You have the gall to come back and ask for Lucy? How do you still have a face? Alex was stunned, pointing a furious finger at Lily. Seeing how tense the environment had gotten, Lily shifted her expression. That was the past. I'm genuinely wanting Lucy now. If it's about money, we can talk. Alex sneered, abruptly standing, pointing to the door. Get out. If you've got stuff to say, say it in court. Every extra word to you disgusts me. Lily, her face cycling through emotions, grabbed her purse and hurried out, humiliated. Let's get some breakfast, Alex sighed. Things didn't transpire how he thought they would. Jasmine ate quietly, cautiously asking Alex, are you still going to work today? Nope. He poured himself some tea, stood before Jasmine, and gave her a meaningful look. You're clear for the day too. After breakfast, come to my room, I need to talk to you. Okay. Swallowed by apprehension, Jasmine ate her meal, her mind tangled with thoughts. Alex saw her looking all timid and couldn't help but smirk as he headed upstairs. After breakfast, Jasmine was so nervous her palms were itching as she stood at the bedroom door. Not wanting to raise any suspicion, she took a deep breath and pushed open the door. Seeing Alex put down his book and look up, Jasmine tried to act confident and strode over. Okay, what do you want to talk about? She thought she was doing great at hiding her nerves, but her voice betrayed her with a slight tremble. Alex expressionlessly opened his palm in front of her. Curious, Jasmine followed suit, opening her hand too. Alex smiled and quickly grabbed her wrist, pulling her into his arms. Caught off guard, Jasmine plopped down on Alex's lap. Looking into his calm eyes, she felt her ears burning up with embarrassment. Now do you know what I want to say? Alex asked, keeping a calm facade while his neck betrayed him with a slight blush. No idea. Jasmine's voice was shaky, she was terrified she might accidentally bite her tongue. Alex, looking a little frustrated, undercut his usual icy demeanor and quickly pecked her lips. He realized he quite liked it, much to his surprise. With Jasmine nearly steaming from embarrassment, Alex cleared his throat, released her wrist, and grasped tightly at her waist. Now do you know? Before Jasmine could shake her head, Alex chuckled. Jasmine, I like you. Have since over a decade ago, through deciding to raise Lucy myself, seeing you again when I returned, even more after we got our marriage certificate. Jasmine, I'm done for. Jasmine's head buzzed with Alex's sudden confession, unsure how to respond. She couldn't escape, and soon her eyes became red. Seeing her looking almost like she might cry, Alex assumed it was from being overwhelmed. He settled her onto the bed, leaning an arm across her belly, studying her carefully. You were jealous earlier, Alex pointed out. No, Jasmine shouted back, catching herself and quickly covering her mouth to keep her mom from hearing. Alex kept observing her, his hand on her waist twitched. What are you doing? Jasmine snapped, like a startled chicken. Even the slightest movement from Alex made her jumpy. Alex looked innocent, keeping you from falling off in your sleep. I've slept here lots of times and never fell off. Jasmine scoffed, pushing his hand away and pretending to get up. Alex pulled his smacked hand back, rubbed the back and muttered, Of course, I've been holding you every night. Jasmine froze, looking at him in disbelief. This guy was all proper on the outside but sneaky behind her back. Suddenly, Jasmine exclaimed, "Why'd you kiss me?" Alex wasn't bold enough to admit he enjoyed it, so with a straight face, he said, "I like you, and you like me. Plus, we're married." Sounded reasonable, but wait a second. Jasmine almost lost it. "We're in a fake marriage, haven't even dated." "As long as the certificate is real, we can start dating now," Alex smoothly replied, tugging her back towards him. Jasmine blocked her mouth, wide-eyed. "Why'd you kiss me again?" "Aren't you supposed to use your mouth for dating?" Alex answered as if it were common knowledge. Jasmine felt like losing it. "I swear I'm gonna strangle you, you shameless rogue." Alex's long limbs easily tamed Jasmine's resistance. He even had a hand to soothingly pat her back and with a bright face, declared, "Don't worry, I won't bully you. Let's date for a couple of days first." She wondered if this Alex was an imposter, maybe a witch secretly swapped the real him. Once Jasmine settled down, Alex closed his eyes, holding her tighter. "Back then, afraid of being rejected, she married another guy right after my brother's funeral, swore she didn't want Lucy. Now, hearing he can't have kids, they might prefer taking Lucy back over raising someone else's kid." Quietly listening, Jasmine sighed softly. "Later, when I told Lucy I was her dad, I hadn't planned on marrying again," Alex spoke, instinctively kissing the top of Jasmine's head. "Meeting you changed that. It's been the greatest fortune of my life." Turning over, Jasmine wrapped her arm around his shoulders. "Don't say that. Lucy's not a burden to you. I like her too, and isn't it great she's here? My mom hasn't rushed me to have kids." Alex paused thoughtfully. "Come to think of it, yeah, it's nice." Jasmine looked up in surprise. Alex returned her gaze, eyes flickering with a dark glow. "We haven't even had our couple's time yet. No little brat can ruin our happiness." Jasmine blushed. "Oh, stop it." The shy girl only revealing the back of her fluffy head in his embrace. Alex chuckled, content, knowing Jasmine was his and Lucy was theirs. As morning sunlight poured through the window, the world seemed quite the beautiful place, didn't it? Best to guard it well and keep it safe.